Welcome to volume 1 of my Even Better Than the Real Thing tutorial sessions. Today we are going to be joined by a bottle of Pinot Grigio. It's the fancy twist cap variety. Woo! Little fizz in there. Yes. This is exactly how I envisioned my Saturday afternoon. That's pretty good. I think I probably should just drink this whole lot. Yeah, that's nice. Okay. Now we can get started. So, as usual, I'm going to give a little gear rundown, and then I'll get right into the mechanics of how to play the tune. Same setup that I have always used really for the past year or so on these videos. Axe FX 2. I am running FR through the CLR cab. My AC30 is sitting over here collecting dust. Rickenbacker 12 string. I don't know what to tell you about this guitar other than I think they call the color Fire Glow. As far as the year, I think it's like a 2011. It's relatively new. I haven't done anything to it. It's stock. String-wise, I think you can get you can get it so that if you can buy strings where one of the G strings is wrapped. I think I don't do that, so it's like the same. Mine's an octave. I think there are string varieties though where it's not an octave, it's just a double. And I don't know what the edge does, but this is how this one's set up. And as far as the settings in the Axe FX, I have Axe Edit up right now. I'm going to read off the settings or the blocks, and then I'm going to close out Axe Edit. So first thing is the compressor. It's the same compressor I always use. It's I stole the settings off the wiki. Then I've got my pitch block set to the whammy mode, 1 octave up. I have it on auto engage so that when I'm not using the whammy pedal, it's disengaged. Then I have my little delay drive combo that is supposed to recreate the Korg delay. So it's a FET and a delay, vintage digital delay. Then I've got my amp, which is my AC30 model. The cab, I'm using these new ultra res cabinets. I used to do, that's maybe the biggest difference for this sound compared to what I normally do, is I'm no longer splitting and doing, you know, one speaker blue, one speaker silver, different mics. Well, some of my sounds are still like that, but on this one it's just like 93, I think. Is that what it is? 93, yeah. 2x12 Class A 30 watt blue mix with a 57. And then I have a plate reverb. And then at the end, I'm not going to be using it today, but I do just, for sake of full disclosure, I have a filter block at the end, which is set to like probably 3 dB up, 3.5 dB up. And that's so when I'm playing the tune live, I'll just hit the filter on at the end just to give me a little boost for the solo, for volume. Okay, closing down Axe Edit. And let's start getting into the tune. There's not a ton of, oh, well, actually, what I probably ought to say is what version of the song we're going to do. That's probably a critical part of this. There's several versions, obviously. There's the album version, which is in the key of A. There is the live version that has been the prevailing live version since the song debuted live on Zoo TV, which is in the key of D, essentially just moved up a string. And then for 360 and more recently, you two have been playing a live recreation of one of the remixes from the Real Thing singles disc. I can't remember which one it is. It's one of the more popular ones, the Perfecto or something like that. And that's the one we're going to do today. I was going to do the live one, that's the older live one in the key of D, but that's actually played in D position, but it's on a flat tuned guitar, so it's in D flat. And my Rick happens to be tuned in standard tuning right now. I used it for my St. Patrick's Day shows to play Sometimes You Can't Make It on Your Own, and Real Thing album version, and I don't know, something else that was required. Why am I drawing a blank here? Well, it really doesn't matter. But at any rate, it's in standard tuning. So it was Angel of Harlem. That's what I was trying to think of. It's in standard tuning. So that's why we're going to do the 360 version today. It's probably it's probably simpler. So this is a good place to start. And then, as I said, this is just volume 1. So volume 2 will be the live version that's in the key of D. And I will get to that as soon as I decide to tune this guitar back down. All right. So first things first. I suppose I'm going to do it sort of chronological for the song as far as the parts go, which means the first part here is going to be the most complicated part, which is the solo. And clearly I have been drinking. So I've got a loop set up that I can run here, and I'll try to run through the solo up close, and then I'll break down the parts like I normally do. So let's see here if I can make this go. Hopefully that's not too loud. Maybe it's too loud. We'll turn it down a little bit. So that's just soft to kind of help me keep time. And here's what we're looking at. Total train wreck. That happens. I don't even know if the loop was audible, and I'm probably not going to watch this video before I post it, but that maybe gives you a sense at least of the phrasing. So the end part, things got a little funky, but it's something like this. So let's break it down. Starting here on the A string. Oh, and here's something to think about if you're playing on a 12 string. If you pick up, you're going to hear more of the high octave. Sort of makes sense. So keep that in mind, that it sounds different to do this than it sounds to do this. Right? Especially when you get on the higher strings. Instead of... And I don't know if my camera's even picking up that difference. It is a subtle difference, but I urge you to experiment with that. And I don't really know where my switchbacks are. I think I primarily am doing up picking to catch the high octave more. Okay, so slide technique. Typically, it's Goldilocks guitar playing. The slide can't be too firmly pushed, and it can't be too soft. So it's sort of like fretting, because if you're fretting with your finger, if you're left-handed, you'd use this finger. If you're fretting with your finger and you push too hard, you're going to be sharp, even if you're on the right fret. The same thing is true with the slide, in the respect, not that it makes it sharper necessarily, but that you'll fret out. So you really just need to develop a touch for the amount of pressure to apply with the slide, and of course there's no easy way to do that. You just need to practice. A couple things that I think I'd put on some sort of written response about playing with a slide. Try to remember, you want to keep this pretty much parallel with the frets always. If you start doing this is a problem, unless you're trying deliberately to do that so that you can hit notes that are not on the same fret. But especially for single string stuff, if you can just try to keep things parallel to the frets, you're going to be happier. Another thing to keep in mind, and this is maybe a little bit of a tall order for some people, but check this out. See this finger right here? This can control the vibration of this string in a small way. So see that? And you could also, if you're really good, I think probably probably bring strings to a mute with this top finger. So if you wanted to slide and go, that would be an easy way to end the sound. So sometimes if I feel like, and I don't know how to describe this any better than the way I'm about to, if I feel like I'm playing a slide note and it sort of starts getting wonky on me, I'll just put ever so slight pressure on the string with my top first finger, and it just sort of it soothes it out. It pulls it right back. That's not a very good example because that string wasn't really getting out of control, but if you do it, trust me, you can feel it in that finger. You can feel the string vibrating, and if you're touching it and it's vibrating, you're sort of logically, I think you're making the vibration go away by applying pressure. So, okay, no more guitar lessons in general. So we're starting here on the fret, and when I'm talking about frets, if I say 5th fret, when I say 5th fret, what I mean is over the fret wire that separates 5th and 6th fret, not the fret wire that separates 5th and 4th fret, and not in the middle of the fret. I'm talking about on the fret wire. So 5th fret, not, but, that's the number. So first part is a slide up to 7, and then you're going to hit the D string at 7. Now you're jumping over onto the D string, and you're sliding from 5th to 7. Repeat both those parts. So that's 10, 9, and 7. Slide up to 10. And I think typically when the Edge plays this, he doubles up on 7th fret with that pick, so it's like ring, ding, 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 bong, bong. Then you're going to slide up. You're going to lift your hand and then slide up into 5th fret. So that's slide up into 5th fret, picking it 2nd, and then you're sort of doing the slide equivalent of a hammer-on pull-off. That's just open note, and then slide back up to 7. Point out about slide technique in general is I feel like I'm being more delicate than I would be if I wasn't playing with a slide with my left hand. Your left hand really needs to be, I don't know, I'm thinking about like when I took one golf lesson when I was a teenager, and they talk about you want to hold the golf club like you're holding a baby chicken, right? You don't want it to get away, but you can't squeeze it or it'll crush into a big bloody mess in your hand. So you need to be firm with the slide, but don't really push. You just need to control the strings. Alternatively, with this hand, I'm being, I think, maybe even more deliberate with my pick than I would be otherwise. So I'm really kind of spanking it with the right hand. Exactly how that's supposed to sound. So forgive all my mistakes that I've made as I've been explaining it. That's the way to do it. And I'll do that first part one more time a little bit closer. well, maybe you're not noticing. You could notice from the sound, but probably couldn't see my right hand. I am using mostly up picks. So this is 10, 10, 10, 12, 9, 7. Last time, a little bit closer. And maybe I better drop this down a little bit so you can see my right hand too. Oh my God, that was a total mind meld right there. That was no good. That's not the right part. Scratch that. It's so hard to play this thing broken up. Okay. What was I doing? Oh yeah. That's what it is. 10, 10 slide. 12 slide. I don't even know what frets those are because I can't count high enough to figure that out. That would be 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 to 14. So again, 10, 10 slide, 12, 12 slide, and then 16 down to 14 on the D or on the G string. So on the D string, 10, 10 slide, 12, 12 slide. So I'm going to back up here to the remember this part? This is the 10, 10, 12, 9, 7. Then it's the 10 slide, 12 slide. 16, 14. Then we're hopping up one more string. That would be 15th fret. So this is, you're going back and forth between 15 and 13 on the B string. And then bumping over onto the E and the B, both at 17th fret. Then you have to do this very difficult thing right here that I chow like every time. Actually, when I play this, when I do it live, I don't use the slide. The Edge does. I do this move. I go, and just switch over on my finger, and then I can go. The Edge doesn't do that. He stays on the slide and goes. I find that to be difficult. You can do it either way, but the key is that you're barring, whether it's with your finger or the slide, 17th fret on the E and the B string, and then this is 20th fret on the E string, and this is sort of why this guitar is important, is because you have to have a ridiculously long guitar neck to play this. So those 3 notes are this, you can see what it is. I think it's 20th fret. So it's 20th down to 17 on the E string, and then 17 on the B string. And that's the end of that intro part. And maybe I'll just try to play it again here, sort of all jammed out. So it's this kind of thing. That's how you do it. It's so easy. It's not easy. Take your time. This is one of the harder guitar parts I think probably that the Edge plays. I mean, look, the Edge is awesome. Everybody knows that I think the Edge is awesome. And he's my favorite guitar player of all time. But, I mean, just chops-wise, he's no Van Halen. Not that anybody would want to be a Van Halen, except for maybe Van Halen and a few other guys that I've met. But he's no Van Halen, he's no Jimmy Page, but he does this really awesome thing that is play all the guitar parts in U2 that are amazing. The thing and the point that I'm getting at is that he doesn't play a lot of technically complicated stuff, but I'll be damned if he does not have a gift for the slide, because the slide stuff that he plays is relatively to the other parts that he plays kind of difficult. And this guitar solo and this guitar part is no exception. That's a difficult part, and you know, take your time. Don't get discouraged. If you've been playing Sunday Bloody Sunday and you're trying to jump from Sunday Bloody Sunday to the slide part and even better than the real thing, relax. Take your time. Don't get discouraged. I feel like I'm totally some sort of like motivational speaker right now. Okay. So that's it. That's the intro. That's the slide solo part. When we talk about the album version or the live version, I'll talk about the other part that's like the end part. But, so out of that slide part, we go into chords. The chords are A, G, and D. And without effect, here's sort of how this is going to go. So it's like 1, 2, 3. With the effect, you're going to add whammy at the end on this D. And it's boom, ba, boom, ba. It's just heel to toe sweep. I'm playing here, if I didn't already explain it, I'm just playing octaves. So this is the A octave, G octave, D octave. So after they get through that part, after the slide intro, then the lyrics start, and this is just single string stuff. So this is the give me one more chance. Just an A there. You'll be be satisfied. And sometimes the edge, instead of just going plang, he goes shakadong. Give me 2 more chances. Same thing, it's just that single note on the D. You won't be denied. Well, my heart is where. So this part, I think the edge is doing it the way that I'm about to explain it. The notes are correct regardless. What I'm saying is that well, the notes are as correct as I have ever been. Not to say that I'm exactly right, ever. So this is my best guess. So assuming that my guess is right and that the notes are correct, I don't know if this is the way that the edge actually plays it in terms of the way he positions his hand, but this is an easy way to do it because, quite frankly, playing this 12-string guitar with this huge neck cramps my hand out. It's hard to play this, and especially doing like straight on bar chords is difficult. So, okay, so well, my heart is where it's always been. This changes to a G. Then up to a B. This G, I mean, just, you know how to play a G natural chord. You don't need this finger, so you can just leave it off. So this is 3rd fret on the low E, the B, and the high E. And here's how the picking is. It's bum, 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 bum. And this is the same note here, so you can hit this. Right? Then up to 7th fret, same position. And you can hit, if you want a 3rd note there for timekeeping, maybe that doesn't make sense to anybody, but in my brain there should be another note there. You can hit this note. That's this open D. No, that might get you in trouble at that part. What is that? Is that just don't hit it. I don't know if you can hit that or not. Try it. If it sounds bad, then don't blame me. So it should just be bong, 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 gong, bong, 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 gong, bong. Then up to 10th. Here you can definitely hit that D because that's what the root is. And then you go into the lick, which we haven't talked about yet, which is this sort of main album lick. So that's an open A. This top note, this is a C sharp. It's on the G string at 6th fret, and there's vibrato on it. The edge switched to just hitting that note and doing some vibrato instead of the album where he's doing this kind of thing. Gone is bada bong, and in style is bong. And then this is just some happy major scale love right here. So this is A string, 5th fret, 7th fret, D string, 5th fret, D string, 4th fret. Something to think about on the timing is that the edge pushes this C sharp. So it's like, if you're bum 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 bum, it's like It's like slightly ahead of the beat instead of one. We need a drummer to really fully illustrate this. I never thought I would say we need a drummer because usually we don't. But it is. It's slightly on top of the beat. So don't wait. Hit that note. Okay, what happens next? So then it's back to the chorus, which is the part we've already learned. It's the A to G to D. So there's that part. Oh my God, that could be the whole song. There's a breakdown part where the loop comes back and the edge is just sort of. Oh, I closed out my. Did I close out the loop? I'll turn the loop back on. Oh. The edge just sort of starts playing along with this, so he's like playing an A octave right here, and it's just like. That's all there is to that. I think I've covered everything. Oh no! Yeah, no, I did. I've covered everything. That's it. There's like, we did the solo. We did the main lick. We did My Heart Is Where It's Always Been. We did the chorus. And the chorus is the same as, that's the same thing that plays during Take Me Higher. That's it. That's the whole song. That's Glastonbury. You're welcome. Seriously. You're welcome. Yeah, that's it. That's all of it. Okay. See you next time for Zoo TV in the key of D.